Adam here with the Walser Automotive Group, and today what I want to do is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 GMC Sierra 1500. So we'll look at the trim options, some of the exterior, interior stuff, and then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 Sierra 1500, and there's a ton of different trim levels, there's bed configurations, as well as a few different engine options. So we'll cover some of that on the road, but this particular one is the AT4 trim. So this one is the crew cab, and this one does have the standard bed. So typically when you see the 1500s, it's the short bed. This one's a little bit longer, and then if you go to that single cab, you can get the really large bed. So there's a few different options there. Now the AT4 does give you some really cool equipment inside. It's different appointments in here. The exterior as well is going to be a little bit different. So let's put it in drive. We'll touch on some of that stuff when we're on the go. Now, before we even get too far, I've got my phone here as we always do, and this particular model is going to come with wireless charging right underneath the center console here. Then you've got wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto that is also going to be wireless. Now, what else is pretty cool? Amazon Alexa is now paired to these vehicles. So you can ask it to do things through that system, and there's also Google Assistant built into here. So if you're using an Android or even the iPhone, you can say Walser, Buick, GMC in Bloomington, and it's going to pop up, give you directions, and you don't have to be messing with your phone when you're on the go, which does make it pretty safe. Now we have to start inside because it's freezing cold today, and this particular one does have the heated steering wheel as well as the heated seats. So depending on the climate outside, it can adjust the heated seats or the ventilated seats up front as well. So you can even remote start the vehicle, and when you turn on the remote start, it will know whether it should kick on those heated seats or not, so that's pretty cool. The second row is also going to add heated seats in the AT4, and there's going to be some USB-C and USB plugs back there, so everybody can be charged up and happy when you're on the go. Now let's talk about engine options. So there's four main options. You have the 2.7 liter turbocharged motor, then it's going to go up to the 5.3 or the 6.2 liter V8, which is found in this model. So the V8s are going to get the 10-speed automatic along with the diesel. So there is a 3-liter turbo diesel. That one's also going to get the 10-speed, or just the 2.7 turbo, that would keep the regular 8-speed transmission. So it gets a little confusing depending on which trim level you're looking at or which engine option you want, but the best fuel economy and towing can be found out of the diesel. So the diesel is going to get you about high 20s on the highway. This particular longer bed with the crew cab, you're looking at about 19 mpg with the 6.2, but towing capacity is going to be there, and this thing's definitely got a bunch of low-end grunt, which makes it pretty fun to drive around. Now, like I said, max towing is going to be about 13,300 when properly equipped. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, there's a lot of factors to consider there. So just know if you need the max towing capacity, 13,300 would be it. And that's about, I think, 4 or 5, maybe even 600 pounds more than the Ram 1500. So if you're shopping or cross-shopping there, that's definitely something to consider. Now, on the exterior, the AT4 does get a little bit of a lift, so it will sit a little bit higher. This one also gets the fixed running boards, so it's kind of got like a grip tape almost material on there, so it's not slippery when it's wet outside. And then you also get some underbody skid plating and the larger wheels and tires that are kind of considered to be more off-road spec. So the Goodyear Wrangler with these wheels does look really cool. The red truck with kind of the black and silver accents around the vehicle, it's got a pretty tough look to it, especially sitting up a little bit higher. I love the front end design on the 25. So not a lot changed from 24 to 25. I think there was one different 22-inch wheel option, but really those LED headlights, those kind of C-shaped lights up front, when you unlock the truck, they kind of dance and do a little animation. It's pretty cool, and it does look really good. Let's talk about the business end. So the truck, this one does get the multi-pro tailgate, so you can flip it down, fold it like 10 or 15 different ways almost if you need to. So you can use it as just a regular tailgate, it will soft open, or you can flip it out to have a step. There'll be a little handle built in there, and then also in the bumper, there's also going to be little steps in there. So I know being that this truck does sit a little bit higher, you can step on the back to reach into the bed. This one also is going to get that spray and bed liner back there, and you get a power sliding rear window. It's really nice if you got the dogs, or if you need to kind of get a little bit of air going into the cabin. Opening up that back window is pretty convenient. The driver's seat, how's the ride and drive? So the 1500s, this one with the longer bed, it does feel like you're driving a pretty big truck. This one's got the larger kind of tow mirrors on here. Those are going to be power mirrors as well. Blind spot monitoring is going to be built into those, but it is easy to see. Those mirrors are pretty big. And from the driver's seat, I thought it would be a little bit stiffer. It's not quite as bouncy or kind of as rough riding as maybe a 25 or 3500, but you do notice a little bit of a difference with the standard bed versus the shorter bed to me. But overall, it's really quiet and comfortable in here. The GMCs are always some of the best trucks when you're on the road. You could eat up a ton of miles from this seat. It's a lot of comfort in here. Like I said, being heated, ventilated, this is a power seat with lumbar as well. There's a lot of good stuff from the driver's seat. One of those other things being the 13.4-inch display. Like I said, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with all the other stuff built into there, built-in navigation as well, so that's really convenient, plus a lot of the different trailering settings. So if you go into the trailering menu, you can program your trailer in that way. You can also use a guest trailer in there. We'll do some checks for you. If you're not maybe as, I guess, advanced in using a trailer, it can certainly help you out there. Now, what else is nice? This one does get the dual zone climate control, so you can set the dual climates up here, and then you have a host of buttons down here. So there's a lot of safety and technology built into these trucks. Like I said, the blind spot monitoring, there's emergency braking. You can also do an adaptive cruise control. So you can set 3, 2, 1 car length distance ahead of you. You can keep track of that in the heads up display as well that this truck does have. So there's lots of cool safety and technology stuff that obviously if you or your family is going to be in the vehicle, you're going to want to make sure you're safe, and the GMC definitely delivers on that. Now, just a few other things. This one does get the digital gauge cluster here. So there's about 100 different things you can look at. All your pertinent information can be found in there. You can also change the display if you want it to look a little bit different. You can change the left side, the right side, or you can just go through, look at all your trip settings, keep track of your fuel economy, some of your tire pressure stuff or trailering things can be built in there. And you can kind of scroll left or right to take a peek at some of that stuff, which is pretty convenient. Now, this one also does get a few different drive modes. Like I said, the 6.2 liter, it's going to give you the off-road mode since this is the AT4 if you want that, or it's got a sport mode, or you can also click it for the tow mode. So that's going to help you out if you've got a larger trailer you're bringing with. So I know that was kind of a lot of information, but the main takeaways are there's 4 different engine options. I think the 6.2 that's in this one gives you tons of power. If you want a little bit more grunt or maybe towing capacity, that 3-liter diesel might be a great option as well. So I think there's a lot of usability. There's a lot of configurations with these trucks. The AT4, I think the price range is something from around $40,000 to about $90,000, depending on how you load one up. If you go all the way up to the Denali Ultimate, you're getting some really cool equipment and style out of that truck. But the Elevation right now, those are going to be about the $40,000, $50,000 range. So you're getting a lot of truck there for your money as well. I think if you're cross-shopping, whether it's the Chevy or maybe the Ram or even the Toyota, there's a lot of good style and design on all these new trucks. And I think the best thing to do is get out, get behind the wheel, open the multi-pro tailgate, hop in, use the infotainment screen, see what you think, take it for a spin, and see if the GMC Sierra might just be perfect for you. Now, that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 GMC Sierra 1500. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com. Stop by anytime, we'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.